Hi, welcome to Mercurius Being Astro Update. I'm Amy Jensen, here to go through the energies and associations of the autumnal equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere. This point of balance, which will be exact on September 23rd at 1:50 a.m. here Central Time. I'll pull up the chart. And this is what it looks like. Again, wherever you are, it may be different. It will be different. The sun at 0 degrees, Libra, 0 minutes. Thus, the point of balance, the movement into Libra. The sun dying in Libra. A balance point, the equinox. And Libra, besides this being the equal day, equal night of the equinox, as it is in Aries in the spring, Libra is also the sign of balance. It's the sign of the scales, and it's the only sign in the zodiac that's not alive. It is metal. I hear Kriya say cold metal scales, but I don't want to say that disparagingly for Librans. I mean that more of a sense of clean fairness, a crispness of energy. At this time, the days and nights are of equal length, and this has the energy of a waning moon, because from this point on in the Northern Hemisphere, we are getting longer into darkness as we approach the end of the year, which is the astrological new moon of solstice in Capricorn, the darkest of days. So there's more darkness coming in, less light, but this sense of establishing balance. So this is a great time to kind of reevaluate and do cleanses. There's some great Ayurvedic cleanses that you can do at this time of year. Reestablishing balance, kind of following on the coattails of the Virgo energy of self-care and really going into your personal cycles and what works and what doesn't work for you. And then Libra, maybe even taking that cold metal air energy of Libra, detaching a bit more. And when I say, just take a moment, when I say to you, what in your life needs a little more balance? What needs to be balanced more? And then without shoulding on yourself, without shaming about what needs to be balanced, what answer comes up? Is it, yeah, I eat too much sugar? Or, yeah, I don't get enough rest. I move too much. I sit too little. I sit too much. I move too little. Whatever that is, without judgment, with just great clarity, maybe list the things that you could see need a little more balance in your life. And this is a great time to do that. And as the old saying is, the stars incline, they don't decide. This is just the energy of this season, okay? Saturn is strong in Libra, it's exalted, so the energy of being able to set these points for yourself, these balance points within yourself, is available. Libra rules the masculine side, or the centrifugal side of the heart chakra. So the Taurus side is what you value. Well, they both are, but I'm thinking of Taurus as what you value, your resources, your self-worth. And then Libra has that energy, it's a 7th house energy of the other. So your Aries, 1st house archetypal energy, Libra's 7th house, the other archetypal energy. So this back and forth. How can you balance yourself with other or others? So, and just the necessity for that, because, I mean, unless you live in a cave, there are other people in your life. And so balancing how those relationships are and how they are for you. Are you maintaining yourself in the balance? Are you tipping the scales too much to the other person? So just a time to evaluate that. I didn't mean to go down that tangent. So the cross of matter, the cardinal signs mark these points in the year. as I said, we're at the waning moon side, I would say, of the Libra equinox. We have the Capricorn solstice coming up in a few months. It's just scary to think how fast the year goes. The Aries equinox, 6 months from now, and then, boy, we'll be celebrating back again 3/4 of the year from now, in the Cancer solstice, the summer solstice. And I say that jokingly because, you know, each point, well, every day, every moment is a moment of celebration, whether it's more darkness and less light, more cold and less warmth. And I recently had a friend who kind of didn't necessarily dare me, but said, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you did your videos outside all year? So I'm taking that into my brain, and we'll see if it happens, but it might be kind of fun to see the changing of the seasons around me. I can tell you right now, the winter videos will be quite short, but anyway, where am I going with that? Being present, the cross of matter, being here on the earth, and it is at these times, the equinox and the solstice points, where as humans, as physical beings on this living planet, we have these shared experiences of season. Whatever our individual charts are doing, you know, each video may or may not resonate as much as you. It depends as much as another one for you, depending on what's activated in your chart. So these solstice points, the cross quarter points, are points, but specifically the cardinal points are very much the energy and realm of the earth. And again, points of day and night, you know, measurable astronomical or physical responses to the environment, if that makes sense. Okay, so going back to the sense of balancing, the sense of Libra ruling fairness and justice, not only fairness in justice, but fairness as in aesthetics. So this is a good time, I would say, like mediation, with all the air and the vata that begins to rise in the fall. There can be vacillation and fluctuation, and as you know, with Libra and that air sign, the shadow Libra, can be a lot of vacillation and fluctuation, and kind of so airy and wanting to balance, and maybe wanting to have such a perfect face out there. This is the way everything looks. Don't look beneath the surface, which will hit in Scorpio, right? So that would be shadow Libra. That too much surface, too much vacillation. What do people think? What perception do they have? Da-da-da-da-da. But take it down, bringing it balance, the sense of balance, aesthetically, harmoniously, resonantly. So the air is fresh and cool. But the vata, again, the energy of drying out starts happening. The leaves drying out, the heat of the summer is ending. The cool dryness of fall, of course, in Minnesota, there's a dampness of fall as well. There's a sense of wanting to establish at this time some very nourishing and warming practices. Again, looking into an Ayurvedic cleanse of some sort, and then shifting your food choices and your lifestyle choices to reflect the coldness and the dryness that's coming in, just to nourish yourself. And again, this is all for you to put into your mind and to your body. And when I'm saying these words, I'm not telling you you should do this. I'm telling you this is a great time to go within yourself and say, how can I nourish myself more? How can I nurture myself more? The environment around me is going to get cooler and drier, and how do I need to combat that? Let's not say combat. Let's say balance that, harmonize that. But the good part, besides the dryness and the coolness, I love the Libran fresh, cool air that accompanies. I love the colors of fall and the variety in nature. And I do love that juxtaposition of, like, I still have flowers that are colorful and blossoming. And actually, one of my rose bushes finally is really blossoming. It's been such a weird summer here. At the same time that I see some leaves start to fall and this feeling of decay beginning to happen. So there's a balance between that. So the freshness, the coolness, the balancing, the enjoyment of the changing of the seasons, and just watching that the air doesn't get so cool and so dry that it scatters your energies like it scatters the leaves. So the aspects to this balance point, this 0 degrees Libra, we have Pluto at 27 degrees Capricorn, 57 minutes, still retrograde. So all the outer planets are still retrograde. If you recall from the last lunation, everything was pretty condensed around the sun and the moon. Everything from the moon to Venus. And at that time it was Mars on the outer edge of that configuration. And then all the planets, and as I have said before, the outer planets, of course, move very slowly. So they're in this pattern. They're all retrograde still, but the moon is catching up to Pluto over here. Mars is leading the way in Libra. Mercury is moving forward, as is Venus. So we're getting a little space and expansion from that condensation, that meeting of the minds and all of the more inner planets moving out into the world and then having contact with the other planets, different relationships than that condensed energy. So the moon is kind of making a foray into Capricorn and meeting up with Pluto, the god of the underworld. Now, Pluto has a trine to the sun. It's a harmonious aspect, even though it's an out of sign trine. So Pluto's in Capricorn, but it's close enough to 0 degrees Aquarius that it has a trine. And Pluto is all for it. Okay, it is all for this Libra season, for this restructuring, the foundational work, which Pluto and Capricorn is doing, but it likes the clear cardinality of Libra. So it's an earth to air trine. So cardinality to cardinality. So I got the idea that this is a work as though situation. I don't know if you've done as though practices. So think as though that's happening. Work and establish your schedule as though this is what you're doing. Okay, so conceptualize into actualizing it. That's the Pluto support I've got at this time. And yes, I'm going backwards in order today. Neptune in Pisces has an opposition, 3 degrees. So again, an out of sign opposition. So Neptune is at the end of Pisces. So really we're getting like that Aries, Libra oppositional energy, but it isn't. It's a water to air. So instead of a fire to air opposition, it's a water to air opposition. And it's not only a water to air opposition, it's a big water Neptune in a big water sign, Pisces, ocean of existence, to opposing. So we've got like the ocean. I just like this image, the Pacific Ocean, right? Just, and this kind of an elemental vastness. And then meeting up this vastness, the collective unconscious, opposing the sun entering Libra, the sign that it dies in, the sign, it's kind of making a point in the sign of the metal scales, measured, exact, not living, calibrated, calibratable, a point in time, marked. So like the sun in Libra is trying to mark this seasonal change, just like this thunk, with very measured exactness, but at the same time it's combating like the swirling tides of the ocean. So it could scatter the air, the water could swirl the air, and the water kind of having a force and moving the air at its will. So as we are establishing this balance, being aware of the undercurrents and the larger flow of energy, And kind of with Pisces, oceanic energy is kind of this primordial soup. So again, there's a lot stirred up and a lot from which to extract. So going back to that as though practice of extracting the element of the salt water and bringing it to a point of balance and exactness, okay, of the scales. Saturn is in Pisces as well, and Saturn has an inconjunct. It's like a smaller inharmonious aspect, but Saturn loves Libra. It's exalted in Libra, so like Saturn's like, cool, the sun is dying, I'm all about the marking of time, death, dying processes, measuring things, like all of Saturn's things. And Saturn, like in Libra, would be like the accuracy of a Swiss watch or a European train schedule, like perfectly executed at the right time. So Saturn is having an aspect to the sun as the sun is in this balance point. But Saturn's kind of having a little difficulty delivering the energy because it's in Pisces. And it's having a Pisces experience, okay? It's saying like, the death and dying thing, the form to formlessness, the formlessness into form is all that Saturn in Pisces is experiencing for oneself. And then simultaneously, it's wrapping its head around this whole experience. I didn't say that quite right. So it's like the Saturn's giving the sun in Libra a little nudge, a little insight maybe into a bigger picture because of its individual experience of trying to explain and embody formlessness in form. Okay, so don't be too hasty in taking just the surface appearance of something as it is. There may be a lot more than meets the eye. So Saturn in Pisces, the underlying form and pulse of the life force, as I said, kind of that primordial energy, that which animates beauty and balance, and then beauty not just being skin deep, Saturn ruling the skin, but that essence of beauty within each of us and within each of the process. Saturn also rules Capricorn, which the planet Pluto is in. So there's that strong foundational energy and support, that matter of factness present. We can't avoid the facts, as well as that strong illusory energy of Pisces that is present with Neptune in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces. So there are a lot of elements going on. There is fire going on as well. It's not really aspecting the sun, so I'm going to kind of keep that on a back burner, so to speak, and we'll address that at the Aries full moon. So right now, that's not coming forward to me as much. Finally, the last aspect to the sun is Jupiter. And I should have looked back on the other lunations. Jupiter has a square and a half, or a sesquiquadrate, a 135 aspect, 0 degrees separating 0 minutes. And I am quite sure we had another Jupiter aspect of 0 recently. So at any rate, I thought that was interesting. So this fixed sign energy I talked about in the last video for sure, about Venus being at 15 degrees Leo, and then this Jupiter at 15 degrees Taurus, kind of like sounding that note of the upcoming cross quarter day of 15 degrees Scorpio. So there's something coming up, something coming down the pike, something coming up when we hit 15 degrees Scorpio. So just prepping energetically, the Venus and the Jupiter kind of giving us these nudges at this time, this fixed sign energy, kind of this energy of standing in oneself. So in your heart, Taurus, the earth, and Venus and Ajna chakra. In Leo, your inner knowing, trusting your inner knowing, your inner wisdom, your embodiment, and your embodiment expanding. Jupiter, just like really expanding into yourself and maybe into your fixity, so you're not blown away by the winds of the fall and Libra, so you're not blown or tossed about or sucked into the tides of the water, and or overbalanced, overfluctuated, I guess, by the Libra scales. So again, just my last little thing about the 000 energy. I guess I'm just going to say a moment about Jupiter, just that Jupiterian energy of expansiveness, of kind of far-reaching thought, kind of expanding yourself, searching for meaning, maybe looking and searching for meaning, and bringing it down again into the heart, into what matters to you, into what you value. And then I looked up the 000 energy, and 0 has the energy and attributes of eternity. It's the energy of a beginning point, the energy of infinity, oneness, wholeness, the energy of continuing cycles and flow. And 0 encompasses attributes of all the other numbers. It's like an absorptive energy. 0 has the energy of potential choice, the beginning of a spiritual journey, and it also can highlight the uncertainties. It's like so much is possible, anything is possible. It can bring up uncertainty. So however you deal with that might fall you into fear or excitement, but just allowing it all to be present. 0 is that nothingness and everythingness. 000 is the energy, kind of a reminder that you are one with the universe, that you are powerful, that our thoughts, our words, our beliefs, our actions, are powerful. And so realizing to balance those, to balance ourselves, to find that balance within, so that at this balance point, what we are resonating with is harmonious, is what we would like to draw into our lives because of the power that we all hold within us. So at this lunation, nope, it's not a lunation, it's the equinox. I'm already thinking ahead. So at this fall equinox, at this balance point, just feeling yourself balanced in the energy of the wholeness, the everythingness, and the nothingness. And at the middle is you. Perfectly poised, perfectly ready at this time. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful fall equinox, and I will be back with the Aries full moon next week. Namaste.